Welcome back to Trots TV. Time for On Trial this week. I've found 3 horses that have been competing at the trials that I think will be very competitive when they do step out at the racetrack. We're going to start at Penrith. Now, this was back on the 10th of February. It was trial number 6. They had a fair few trials at Penrith on this occasion, but I was taken by the performance of the Maldives. This horse, trained by Ian Wilson, driven by Jim Douglas in the trial. Horse did win a 3-year-old at the end of last season. We haven't seen the horse since then, and I think there's going to be a few wins in store for it if it can repeat this performance at the racetrack. Now, didn't show a lot of speed from the mobile, and in the end got shuffled back and sat 4 back on the inside. There wasn't a lot of speed in the early trial, and Jimmy Douglas was happy just to let the race unfold in front of him. As they came into the straight for the final occasion, Jimmy was looking to make a move, and when they passed the post and got the bell, that's where Jimmy pulled out and just didn't really ask the horse to extend and chase the leader. Just let the horse work up nicely, steadily, and was able to get into the trial that way. Now, approaching the home turn, the horse loomed up on the outside and then was able to put its head in front soon after turning for home. And while the leader was being asked to extend, the Maldives was under a hold. So I think that is definitely a horse worth following. Just having a look at the times, they weren't anything flash because of the slow first half. They only went through the first half in 63 seconds. The mile rate was 2:1. They ran home in 58.5 and they dashed up that last 400 in 28.7. So that was impressive. The Maldives wasn't asked to extend, and I think there's definitely a win in store for him early on in his campaign. So mark that horse down, the Maldives out of Penrith on the 10th of February. That was trial number 6. Now, time to turn our attention to the Menangle trials. Now, this was on the 12th of February, and this horse competed in trial number 3. It's not the winner, the Boys GNP. He's a nice horse and rated a nice 155.9. The horse I want to talk about is the mare that runs second, and her name is Some Love Somewhere. Now, she has raced in the Riverina. She's had a stable change. She's gone from Sean Snudden to Darren Hancock, but if you know the mare, she's got tremendous gate speed, and that's been one of her big bonuses racing down in the Riverina. Small track, big track, she can just shoot out, find the top, and therefore she's always very competitive. I think the move to Menangle is going to help her because it doesn't matter where she draws, she's going to find the front. And in this trial, she did that. She looked like she was tied to the mobile. She came out that quickly. But then there was a little bit of pressure from Sports Chayton, and they were happy to hand the lead over, and she sat there. Well, she never left the pegs after that, in fact. But the Boys GNP, once Sports Chayton found the top, Boys GNP raced around, sat in the death seat, and the top 3 effectively didn't change. The Boys GNP raced home nicely, won the trial. There looks to be improvement in him. He looks a nice horse. But I just like the way that Some Love Somewhere was able to squeeze up through on the inside and untouched. Looked to have a fair bit left in reserve. Now, the only concern for me with this trial is that the last quarter was very slow. I think they only got up the straight in about 29 seconds. But I still think there's some merit in the performance. She's only a COR1, so Darren Hancock's going to have some fun placing her, and there'll be some wins in store for her. So Some Love Somewhere, good trial performer, went second in the trial behind the Boys GNP at Menangle on Friday afternoon. And then there was an unraced 2-year-old that competed in a trial at Bathurst on Monday night. So this is the 15th of February, and this was trial number 1, a horse by the name of Our Uncle Sam. Now, it is trained by Anthony Frisbee. The horse is by Sports Rider. It's out of a mare called Rooftop Fairy. There doesn't look to be a lot in her family. This is the first one of her foals that has got to the racetrack. But gee, he's got some speed. He wasn't asked or wasn't bustled in the early stages, didn't get involved in the early speed battle, and raced midfield and looked to be full of running. The leader got out with a very big lead down the back straight, and at the 400 metre mark, despite a pretty solid tempo, it looked as though it was going to be able to hang on and record a nice victory. But when Our Uncle Sam was pulled to the outside at the 400 metre mark, and that's all he was asked to do, sprint 400 metres, he moved so quickly. He pulled out at the 400, and by the time they got to the turn, he was up outside the leader. I know the Bathurst track does help horses that move quickly once they're out 3 and 4 wide, it just seems to be horses do arrive up at the leaders pretty quickly out wider on that track. But this was a really good performance from an unraced 2-year-old. Look, they asked him to keep his mind on the job in the straight. They used the stick just to keep his mind on the job, a couple of little slaps on the rump, and he was able to hit the line stylishly. And the final quarter, leader to winner was 29.6, but I got off the TV, I got him, our Uncle Sam actually breaking 29 seconds, only just for the final 400 metres. So I thought that performance was pretty good. They went 58.7 for the last 800, and I think our Uncle Sam is a 2-year-old that has some upside, so he's another one that is worth following. So the 3 horses going on trial this week. We have the horse out of the Penrith trials called the Maldives for Jimmy Douglas and Ian Wilson. Some Love Somewhere for trainer Darren Hancock, still on the sidelines with a driving suspension, but he won't be too far away. And I think we can follow our Uncle Sam for Anthony Frisbee as he kicks off his career very, very soon. They're the 3 horses going on trial this week on Trots TV.